Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface on the beta for Warlords of Draenor, and this is the 8th and final dungeon which I'm bringing to you for Warlords. There's only 8 to start with at launch, the lowest amount there's ever been in the World of Warcraft. Now I'm going to put them all in a nice little playlist for you if you haven't seen the others, so it's all going to be nice and twee, but this Everbloom, oh my god, the amount of trash going through to the first boss is absolutely ludicrous. In actual fact, it takes us 11 minutes. 11 minutes to get to the boss with all the trash. Now then, some of you might say, yeah, but it looks like you're pulling certain packs of trash which you could leave behind. Absolutely, you could. But here's the thing. It takes 4 out of the 5 people to know what they're doing and just make sure that they get far enough away from the packs to not pull them. But it takes one person, just one person in your group, to not pay attention, to pull the packs of trash, and the likelihood is if they get ganked and then there's 4 of you taking on the trash, it's just going to cause things to go longer and longer and longer and longer. So, some packs of trash here, absolutely compulsory. Maybe 1 or 2 you could try and avoid. But the long and the short of it is, 11 minutes to get to the first boss is fucking insane, Blizz. Insane. And first boss up, we have Witherbark. So, a few things. You'll notice that you get a green arrow above your head. You're being targeted. If you get the green arrow, move. You'll notice that you'll suddenly get one of these like sprouts or roots that come in and try and hit you. If they do hit you, I think they're going to bring an add into the fight. There you go, one person's got hit, and he's going to take a bit of damage. The boss, when he's taken a certain percentage of damage, will then sort of go into help me mode, and he'll start to summon these aqueous globes, or globules, from the water. When enough of them have hit the boss, he'll come back into the fight. Obviously, the longer that you manage to hold off the aqueous globules, the better it is for you. But keeping the boss where he was, not the best thing, because he's right by the water's edge, so they haven't exactly got much of a distance to travel. And you notice the water starts spitting at you as well, because, you know, why not? And it'll do about 11k, 12k odd damage. So it's best to try and tank the boss, most probably where we've got him now, maybe a little bit further into the actual ground itself. So when he does go into his recover mode, then the globules will have a lot further to travel. So here we go now. He's going back into the brittle bark section. So we're starting going to get globules coming into the fight any time now. There we go. Notice the distance that they've got to travel now is a lot more. So you can have people on the globules, smacking the globules down. You could also have people doing some deeps on the boss, because obviously the boss will start to take a little bit of damage as well. And the longer you can keep this going, the better. Now, did you also notice that if the aqueous globules seem to hit the roots and nourish the roots, it could possibly, there you go, it brings an add into the fight as well. So all these like roots on the ground, bringing the adds into the fight, so the globules are actually revitalizing those and bringing them in. So again, the more and the quicker you bring down the globules, the better it's going to be. And now we've got a pretty good what kind of run? Should we say run? Turn of events? I don't know. We've got a pretty good routine going on here where the globules, they're coming in en masse now. So they're definitely coming in huge numbers, but we are managing to deal with them on a good basis. The boss again, just taking a little bit of damage further down. He's on about 2.2 million from his starting point to 6.8. There's going to come a point where there's just probably no way you're going to be able to stave off all the globules. Or if you are overgeared, you could probably keep this going. Remember, when we're doing these dungeons on the beta, we are capped at level 600, item level 600. We can't go beyond that. So even if our item level, like mine is at the moment, is 647, on live. I'm going to be capped down, or on beta I should say, I'm going to be capped down to 600. So although I'm going to have the bonuses, my set bonus and stuff like that, I'm not going to have any other advantage. So if I was item level 647 in this dungeon, then obviously shit would be dying a lot quicker. But we did a great run there. Like I said, we held off the globules for so long. The boss took a substantial amount of damage, and when he comes back into the fight, he was on less than 1 million, I think it was, and we could just burn him down to get the rest off as well. So there we go. Boom bada, boom bada. Now then, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So what happens after you defeat the first boss? Well, you probably guessed it. We have reams and reams and reams of trash to go through again. What's rather annoying about this dungeon is the bosses are pretty good fun. In actual fact, I had a lot of fun doing these bosses, but the trash is just so distracting. There is so much of it, and here the corridor is really tight. It's really narrow, so trying to avoid packs here is tantamount to Russian roulette. Like I said, it only takes one member of your party to mess up. It only takes one member of your party to get a little bit too close to the trash, and then it pulls in. And because these packs are also very tight together as well, what's to say, who's to say, how's to say that they're not going to drag in another pack and probably cause a wipe. So we have gone for the discretion is the better part of valor tactic, and had to deal with the trash. Oh, it's exhausting. In actual fact, this dungeon, and this is just the normal version, this isn't even the HC version, this dungeon took us, I think it was 57 minutes all in all. Now, admittedly, there are a couple of wipes which have been edited out, and there was like a couple of people leave, and we had to wait for the people to get swapped and changed back over. But still, it's just way too long. The trash packs are just way too much, and Blizzard really, I mean, I don't understand who at Blizzard thinks it's a great idea. Who came up with a great idea saying, oh, wouldn't it be awesome if they wasted 10 minutes of their life just on trash getting to the first boss? Isn't it awesome if they wasted another 6-7 minutes of their life getting through to the second boss? You know, it's just like, oh my god. I think they should have been cut down quite drastically. So, we're on to the next boss. And the next boss is Dulhu. Now, Dulhu is one of these, not weird bosses, but just if you've seen the Iron Docks video, the second boss in the Iron Docks video is where we had the boss and 2 ads, and we were predominantly DPSing the 2 ads with a little bit of DPS on the boss. It's kind of the same here. You've really got to focus one ad. Now, we've got the ad focused on the skull, but as you can see, there's only kind of like myself and maybe one other DPS on it. The Paladin is just not bothering, or somebody else, I think it's the Paladin, but somebody is just not, I think it's the Paladin, just not bothering whatsoever. And I think this Paladin might follow us the whole way through the dungeon. So he should be on this ad here, but he's not. So what have you got to avoid? Well, you notice that every so often you'll have these vines cast at your feet. If you don't get those vines cast at your feet, move out of them quickly, because you'll start to take damage and damage and damage. You'll also get damaged by the boss, which puts a debuff on you. So healers, you've got to be looking out for this debuff, making sure that you heal up these people that got the bite debuff. It does start to damage relatively hard. I mean, we're constantly taking around about 10k damage every, you know, 5 or so seconds, and that's almost raid wide. And then if you've got the debuff on you, then you're going to be taking a lot more. So healers have just got to be careful of, mindful of who. Like at the minute, if you look at the bars to the left, the Hunter currently has the bite debuff, and that's just knocking his health down bit by bit. There you go. They're the vines which have been cast on me. They slow you as well. So you can't just quickly run out. You're sort of like slowed, and you try to have to make your way out of it. But we defeated the first of the ads. So now we're switching to the second of the ads. Again, Nature's Wrath. You probably kind of like let those ones go through and then interrupt the heals that come from these ads. That's what you really want to be looking out for. Bramble patches as well. There you go. We stuck it onto the healer this time. So that's what you really want to be looking out for. The heals from the ads to keep the boss up, because once the ads have been dealt with, then the main boss itself will just crumble. It will absolutely crumble. There's nothing else there to protect him. There's nothing else to heal him, and damage wise he'll just suddenly go down. I don't know if the Paladin actually ever did an attack on the ads. But this is where you've got to be very careful of apathetic DPS. We've had this talk so many times, it's kind of like getting a little bit dull now. But unfortunately, this topic of conversation will come back towards the end of this dungeon. But if you've got a job DPS, if you've got a job healers, a very specific chore, which obviously the healers in the tank do, but DPS, I mean, it's so rare that DPS really have to kind of be mindful and focus very set stuff. This is one of those fights. Don't get apathetic. Don't leave it to other people. If you had done that, then if all the DPS had focused the ads, that would have been over so much quicker. Now then, we have a spider boss now, which can actually be missed. You don't have to do this. But of course it is another boss that drops loot, and loot of course at the beginning of the stages of any dungeon is going to be very worthwhile, so I would highly recommend that you do not skip this boss and just carry on going. Now initially we skipped this, we cleared the trash by the next boss, we wiped on the other boss because somebody while we were pulling the trash pulled the boss. That's what I'm talking about, being careful about doing stuff. But when we came back in, I said, look, can we do the spider boss please, guys? I didn't say that I was filming or anything, but can we do the spider boss? So we all actually did the spider boss. So things that you got to be mindful for. Obviously, the noxious gas on the floor. Don't stand in it. You'll start to take some nasty damage. And then when the pale ogre, this is actually an orc. When the pale orcs come in, DPS them as quickly as possible. Burn them down as quickly as possible. Because if you don't, the boss will start to feed on them. The boss will jump on them, start to feed on them, and that will boost the boss's health back up. So when those pale orcs come in, blast them down. Again, it's one of these things. I'm gonna be a complete cliche bucket this video. Do not be apathetic. Focus the ads. All DPS should immediately switch, just like that. See the pale hulks come in. You know, they're orcs, they're pale orcs. See them coming to the fight. Boom! Immediately turn to them and start to blow them down. There you see, the boss actually managed to get some yum 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 from them because we didn't quite get it down in time. And if the boss keeps healing up, then this fight is going to go on for fucking ages, isn't it? So another pale orc comes in. Get onto it, smash it down. All DPS as much as you can, smash it down. The less health it's got, the less the boss can heal up. The less the boss can heal up, the more that you can focus it when the pale orc is actually out of the way. Now this one I think is going to get completely blown up. Boom. Awesome. So that the boss didn't even get a single solitary bit of fodder from that one, which has allowed us a little bit of time to carry on DPSing. Now again, you'll notice all the gaseous clouds on the floor. The tank's going to have to maneuver the boss very succinctly around the battlefield to make sure of it. Another orc has come in again, getting straight onto this. I'm doing a cataclysm because, you know, YOLO. I'm doing a cataclysm here. But you notice that the boss is actually really low on health, and you kind of get into one of those situations where you're like, should I burn the boss down? Should I deal the ad? On that occasion, because it was so low, when it was trying to do the consume, when it was trying to eat the ad, we could burn it down. We could get that one down. So let's move on to the next boss. And again, I'll reiterate, this area is again consumed with trash. Packs of infected Violet Eye mages. So you've got to be very careful because that is the boss, and you can easily pull one of these packs of trash and bring the boss in at the same time. Now you notice on the boss, she's currently got her molten armor up. She will go through various schools of magic throughout the course of the fight, and because of the various schools of magic, she will cast various spells. So you've got to be on the lookout here. But this is more of a commonsensical, such a great word. This is more of a commonsensical type of a fight where it's about avoiding stuff. Shit on the floor, get out of it. Shit incoming, move away from it. Stuff like that. Anything that you can interrupt it. So we're just doing a bit of burning down. Now you can see the boss actually does take rather a lot of damage. It seems to be pretty easy and pretty quick to burn down. Fireball got through. That fireball could have been interrupted. Again, another fireball goes through. Could have been interrupted. And then you've got the rings of fire. How do you avoid the rings of fire? You jump over them! That's what killed the raid last time, and when it killed us, they were like, how do we... And I was the only one that actually survived. Yay! I've got the footage to prove it. And they were just like, how do you avoid the rings of fire? And I said, you just jump. You jump over them. If you don't jump over them, they actually deal a colossal amount of damage, and I mean a colossal amount of damage. But if you leap over them, You don't take any. Yay! Now, she's gone into Frost Armor, and you can see she's putting patches of Blizzard on the floor. Again, don't stand in it. You know, it's not really fucking difficult thing to do. When she was doing that parasitic growth, it got kicked. So interrupt the parasitic growth, which is nice. She's now switched to Arcane as a School of Magic. She's doing sort of like her Arcane Blast. It's Arcane Burst in this game, but Arcane Blast if you're a current mage. But damage-wise, she's taking so much. We can't interrupt this. So, you know, this is just pulsating AoE damage coming into the raid. The healer's got to be mindful of that. Just notice that everyone's going to be taking damage, not just the tank. And just be mindful of making sure that, you know, hots are up. As you can see, this druid's doing a great job making sure that all the DPS and the tank and itself have got hots up on them. So the Arcane Burst not really coming through. And then the boss is done. And then the very final boss is this Stormwind Portal. We actually pulled a couple of bits of trash there. This Stormwind Portal. This is this patch behind Stormwind. Now, you might have seen this in a video too when I did this. And this is what we wiped on. And I've sort of edited the footage to go back in on the kill. Because I'm going to have to say it, and I'm sorry, we have apathetic DPS. And I think it's the Paladin. You'll have to forgive me. I'll keep an eye out on the Paladin for this fight. I'm not trying to out anybody. But the thing is, if you don't push your weight in this fight, it's just going to cause wipes. And if you wipe, you're not going to kill the boss. So if you're not doing what you should be doing, and you're dying, don't you think you should do what you should be doing? I know, crazy-ass logic there, folks. I'm just going to leave that with you. Drops mic, leaves the room. Right, this boss has got some great little mechanics. And this fight, I sort of likened to Norishan from Siege of Orgrimmar, in as much as the main focus of this fight is ads. Ads, 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 and ads. If you focus the ads in this fight, it's so easy. If you don't focus the ads in this fight, you are fucked. Okay? Simple as that. So, what do you have to be careful for? Well, there's druids around the side, or arcane magicians around the side, mages around the side, that are attacking the boss as well. If they get entanglement, which you can see one of them is on now, destroy the entanglement. Get them back into the fight. You need their DPS. Trust me, you really do. When the Ancient comes into the fight, burn it down immediately. When the two Mandragora come into the fight, destroy them immediately. And when these petals come on the ground, you have to run over them to destroy them. If you don't run over them, after a set amount of time, about 15 seconds or so, whichever ones haven't been run over will come into the fight as additional ads, and they will simply cause massive trouble. You will get consumed and swamped with ads. Now, as far as I could see, both myself and the hunter were going around running across the petals. Even though I've told them the tactics, I'm pretty damn sure the paladin did fuck all again. Excuse my French. But this, of course, is this apathetic DPS. If you don't do what I've just told you to do, then you're going to wipe and wipe and wipe, and you're only wasting your own time. Not just other people's, but your own. You know, it's all well and good to say, oh, other people would do it for me, but if you're constantly wiping, what's the point? Help out. Stop being such a lazy bastard. Or bitrous. Or whatever. But luckily, we've got the boss now down to about 250k, so we can leave the petals on the ground and burn, 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 burn. And woof. I swear to God it was after me. I swear to God it was after me. We finally get the boss down. And also get myself a little bit of loot. A 615 trinket, intellect trinket, with a massive multi-strike proc, I think that was, off looking. So there we go. That final boss fight. Ads, 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 and ads. So we start off in Everbloom. We end up in Stormwind. Remember the blocked, the destroyed area of Stormwind. And Blizzard have announced, by the way, that it's very unlikely Stormwind's going to be repaired in Warlords of Draenor. What a shitter. That is. But that is the 8th and final dungeon waiting for you in Warlords of Draenor. Check out the dungeon playlist on my channel to see all the available dungeons on launch. And I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. All those links are in the description down below. And I shall be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.